Hey, yo, what is up, everybody? My name is Chandler Molyneux, and I am the creator of the Brain Juice Show. And today's episode is Brain Fuel, baby. And what we do in these episodes is we're breaking down sales tactics, leadership tactics, and personal development tactics as well. So, without further ado, well, let's go ahead and get into today's episode. So what we're going to be talking about today is how to have an effective discovery that eliminates objections. So we're talking about sales today. Here's the biggest problem that I see with coaches. A lot of coaches only focus on training for objection handling. You know what training for objection handling gets you good at? It gets you good at objection handling. Now, do you know what training for your discovery portion gets you good at? It gets you good at eliminating objections. Think about that for a second. Wouldn't that be nice if on your sales calls you got to the point where you were pitching the price and the person had no objections? They actually said, "What's the price? I'm ready to rock and roll." And you were able to close them with ease. Well, the big thing that's misunderstood is that the way that we eliminate these objections is in the discovery portion of the sales call. So what you're going to learn in today's training is I'm going to break down the discovery portion of the sales call step by step, so you have a full understanding of how to operate your discovery section in order to eliminate objections by the end of the sales call. So let's waste no time. Let's go ahead and get right into it. Okay, so step number one, very simple. We want to set the tone for the call. Okay, here's why. Here's why we want to do that. The reason we want to do that, and maybe you've experienced this, is when you're on a sales call, you have a chatty Cathy, somebody who just, for the lack of a better term, won't shut the fuck up. They won't stop talking, right? And what happens is you're never able to grab control of the call. They just blab, 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 blab. Next thing you know, you're 10 to 20 minutes into your allotted 60-minute call, and you haven't even asked them the first question yet, right? So we want to establish the tone of the call right away. We want to establish you as the leader on the call right away. And here's how we do that, right? So when somebody pops on for me, I'll say, "Hey, nice to meet you. Super excited for today's call." Maybe I'll ask them a question about where they live. Maybe we'll chat about that for literally 60 seconds, but not a second more. Okay, from there, I'll say, "Great, you ready to dive in?" Right, so I'm saying, "Great, you ready to dive in?" I'm asking the first question. The person who asked the question is setting the tone. The person who asked the question is taking the lead. All right, they say yes. Then I want to tell them exactly how this call is going to go. All right, so more or less, I'll say, "Awesome. So here's how the call is going to look today. First 15 to 20 minutes, I'm just going to ask some questions, want to make sure 110% that we can help you. If I feel confident that we can, what I'll do from there is I'll share my screen. I'll walk you through the entirety of the program so you have a good understanding. If by the end of that presentation, you feel that this program can help you, that's when we'll talk about potential next steps." Now, what this does, obviously, it allows you to be the leader on the call. It also tells them that at the end of the call, you're going to be talking about an investment, which is important, right? We want to basically inform them that that's the way that this conversation is going to go. So this way, they're not concerned and thinking about it as you guys are doing the sales call. You've already told them up front. Okay, now, like I said, first one was simple. All right, now step number two here is establishing the why of the why. All right, a lot of salespeople, a lot of coaches really mess this up. They don't take this part seriously. All right, they only get the surface level why. I'm going to use weight loss as an example. Okay, so if I said, "Hey, what's your biggest reason for being on the call today?" And somebody says, "I just want to lose weight. I just want to feel better," right? There's a lot of coaches out there and a lot of salespeople out there that will say, "Oh, got the why. We're good to go." No, that's not the biggest reason why they're on the call today. We must go layers deeper. We have to find the real reason they're on the call. And if we fail to do that, guess what? You're not going to close the deal. All right. You're not going to close the deal. Why? Because you don't have any leverage. All right. Having the why gives you leverage for when they say at the end of the call that it's too much money, but you found out the real reason they need to lose weight is because the doctor said if you don't, you're going to be dead in a year. Right. If all we did is just take weight loss as the why, it's not powerful enough when we say at the end, when we're fighting that objection, like just bringing up that they want to lose weight, right? But if we know that literally they're on their deathbed and the next year, if they don't lose weight, they're going to die, that's a lot of leverage that can justify them making that payment. Okay, so we understand the importance of finding the why. We understand the importance, or we understand what the why of the why is, but let's go a layer deeper here. Okay. So if somebody says to me they want to lose weight, I'm gonna follow that up with that's amazing. What would weight loss do? How would that change your life from what you're experiencing right now? All right, maybe they then tell me, well, I would have more energy. I'm not going to accept that as the why of the why, right? So what I'm going to say is, man, that's amazing that you want to have more energy. What would having more energy do? Like, how would that change your life? Oh, and then they say, well, I'm a father of two, and when I come home from work, I'm so tired, I can't pay any attention to them. Ding, 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 ding. Well, we just got the why of the why, right? We just got the why of the why, right? Then from there, once we feel we have the why of the why, we want to tie it down. Okay. What I mean by tie it down is we want to repeat it back to them and get 100% clarity that this is the reason why they're on the call today. All right. So here's how I would frame that. I would say, that's amazing. I really love that you want to, I really love that you want to be a good father. If I'm hearing you correctly, the biggest reason you're on the call today is if you lose this weight, you're going to have more energy to be the type of father that you know you could be and the type of father that your kids deserve you to be as well. Is that correct? Or is there more? They can only answer in one of two ways. They're either going to tell me that, yes, that's correct, which then ties down the fact that I have the why of the why, or I added that last question in, right? And I said, or is there more? That also opens the door for them to communicate if I'm missing anything, right? They might say, yes, that is correct, but you're also missing, or also the reason I want to lose this weight is, yes, I want to have more energy for my kids, but I also want to have more energy for my wife, right? And then you could dig deeper. Oh man, cool. Tell me more about that, right? Well, what would having more energy do for you and your wife's relationship? Well, we would be more intimate. We haven't been intimate in 3 to 4 years, right? We're gathering information, we're digging deeper, we're asking questions. So the biggest thing we want to do here, we want to continue to ask more questions to find the like peeling back the layers of an onion to find the core reason why they're on the call. When we feel that we have the core reason, we're gonna regurgitate back to them and say, is blank the biggest reason you're on the call today, or is there more? Right? That's what we want to do in this particular section. Okay. Now, step number 3, establish a goal and establish the importance of that goal. Okay, establishing a goal is easy. You just straight up ask them, what's your biggest goal, right? And we want to make sure it is a SMART goal, all right? We want to make sure it's specific. We want to make sure it's measurable, attainable, reachable, and time bound, right? So if they just say, hey, I want to lose weight, you should follow it up and say, that's awesome. How much weight do you want to lose? When do you want to lose it by? Great. You want to lose 30 pounds in the next 6 months. We have a SMART goal. Awesome. Thumbs up. That part's simple. Anybody could do that. Here's the tactful part. Okay, the tactful part is we need to establish how important this goal is, right? And remember, all these questions are checking boxes off in their head. This is how it eliminates objections, right? Because previously we just got them to talk about the why of the why. Right now we're getting to talk about how important this is, right? Which is building in their mind the anticipation that they have to do this, right? Which at the end of the call is going to allow you to not have any objections if done right. All right, so here's what I mean by important. So once they tell me the SMART goal, from there I'm going to follow up and I'm going to say, amazing. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being you don't care at all, and 10 being you have to make this goal a reality, how important is it for you to reach this goal? Now, the big thing here is we want to make sure they understand the question, because a lot of times they misunderstand this question and they think that you're asking them on a scale of 1 to 10, how important is it for them to join your program? That's not what we're asking. So you have to ask the question the right way. Scale of 1 to 10, 1 being you don't care, 10 being you must make this goal a reality. How important is it for you to reach this goal? You have to say those words. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, this is extremely critical. All right. If they say they are less than an 8, 1 through 7, they're less than an 8, there's a high probability that you are going to end this call. Okay. Now, there are some odd circumstances that they misunderstood the question, and I will communicate on how to get through that. But really, we want to be signing quality clients. All right. Quality clients are a reflection of your brand. If you bring in bad clients, they're going to leave bad reviews. They're not going to get results. It's going to reflect back on you, not on them. All right. So this question is a key indicator on if you have a quality prospect on the phone, somebody who is ready, willing, and able to do anything to make their goals a reality. All right, so if they're less than an 8, there's a high probability that we're not going to move forward with this individual. Okay, well, let's go ahead and talk about if they misunderstand. So here's what you do. If they say they're a 7 or anything less than an 8, we're going to follow up and say, awesome, what would make this a 10 for you? All right, and if they say money or time, that's not a valid reason why they're not a 10, right? Because money, we could just follow up and say, amazing, okay, cool. Well, let's imagine money wasn't an object, and let's imagine that you're willing to get resourceful to make this happen. Just the goal alone, if we put the goal in a vacuum, how important is it for you to just reach the goal? Same thing with time. If we were to put the goal in a vacuum, imagine you had all the time in the world. How important is it for you to just reach this goal? Okay, we want to eliminate the time and the money because we can work with those things, right? And we want to put the goal in the vacuum and see how important is it for them to reach this goal. Okay, now, if it's not time and money, and if the reason they say they're a 7 or anything below is that more or less they don't care about reaching this goal, we want to politely end the call. Here's how we do that. You have to be forward. You have to say, hey, just want to be candid with you. We don't accept anybody that's less than an 8 in our program. Reason being is I have in the past, and truthfully, it's not in your best interest and it's not in our best interest because usually those people don't follow through on the protocols that we have laid out. But here's what I want to do. I don't want to leave you hanging. I have a free community. I would love for you to hang out in our free community in the meantime. And when you feel this is a higher level of importance in your life, reach back out and let's reconnect. That's how you would let them down with ease. Okay, now let's go ahead and switch pages here. So let's say they're an 8, 9, or 10, right? If they're 8, 9s, or 10s, they're treating this with a level of importance that 1, they will make the purchase and investment, and 2, they will follow through and get results, which means it's a good representation of your brand. Here's what we want to do to really make sure that this is important to them. So if they tell me they're an 8, 9, or 10, I'm going to follow up and say, that's amazing. You know, why is it a level 9 for you? Why is it a level 8 for you? Why is it a level 10 for you? Why is it so important? Right? So this is going to do one of 2 things. All right. Well, really, actually, sorry, it's going to do one thing. If we didn't really get the why before, this is another opportunity to get the why, right? It's more or less asking the same question we just did. And that may feel like, why am I doing that? But I promise you, you're going to get a different answer or you're going to get more information, which only gives you more leverage going into the close. All right, now the other thing it could do, I was right, it could do one of 2 things. The other thing it could do is maybe you get no new information at all. They just regurgitate what they already told you. That's okay, because now once again, we're further cementing it in their brain that this is very important to them. Okay, so that was section 3. Now we're going to talk about section 4. All right, so section 4 is challenges and tie downs. Very simply, we want to ask them, what are their biggest challenges to reaching this goal? That's the very easy part of this. Okay, the more challenging part of this is the tie down section. All right, so tie down section means we want to eliminate concerns before they become objections. This is one of the most important parts of the discovery, because if we don't tie these things down, then you are going to get objections at the end of the call. But if you properly tie down these concerns and challenges, you're not going to get objections at the end of the call. All right, let me give you a couple of examples. Some challenges that you might get. Now, if they're just normal challenges, like for example, if it's a weight loss client and they say that macros is a challenge, they say that they don't know what exercises to do as a challenge, we don't need to tie that stuff down, right? It's just good information for us to have. But if they say that money is a challenge, time is a challenge, or they mention self-limiting beliefs, we want to tie these things down. Now, side note, you should be asking them if they have any mindset challenges to reaching this goal, because they are going to tell you their self-limiting beliefs. And the biggest reason you get objections is not because those objections are actually true. It's because there's an underlying fear that hasn't been discussed. So you should 100 and bajillion% be asking them, what mindset challenges do you have to reaching this goal, in addition to asking them what challenges they have to reaching this goal. All right, getting back to how to tie these things down. Money, time, self-limiting beliefs. Money, Very simple. All right, what we're going to say is, hey, no problems at all. If we get to the end of this call and you think it's a good fit and I think it's a good fit, are you willing to get resourceful so that we can come up with a payment plan that's fair for you, but also fair for us? They say yes. We've tied down and eliminated that concern. Okay. Time. What we're gonna do there is you should figure out how much time does your program take in a given week? How much time are they going to have to allot to your program and executing the plan? All right, let's say it's 5 hours a week. Very candid, we're going to say, hey, totally get that you don't have a lot of time. I know this goal is really important for you, and I would love a way for us to find the time. Now, I've already done a lot of the work for you. Our program takes 5 hours a week in order to be successful and execute the plan. Do you feel like you have 5 hours a week, and or do you feel like you can get resourceful to find 5 hours a week? Okay, they say, yes, we've eliminated that concern. Okay, self-limiting belief. So let's say when we ask them, what mindset challenges do you have to reaching this goal? Let's say they follow up with, oh man, like I just have a fear of failing. I've tried to lose weight before and I fail and I fail and I fail. Okay, here's how we want to respond. Hey, totally get that you have a fear of failing. Honestly, like 95% of our clients that do this have the same exact fear as you. But here's the thing. Are you willing to continue to let the fear of failing hold you back from having the dream life that you've already described? Right? You told me that you want to be the best possible father for your kids. Is the fear of failure worth more than that? If they say no, we've tied down, we've eliminated that concern, we can move on. All right, so that's the challenge section. Extremely critical and important. Okay, section 5 is going to be addressing things that they've tried. All right, you're going to get one of two scenarios here. You're either going to get somebody that has tried a lot of things and you'll take a different path for that person, or you're going to get the type of person that hasn't tried anything. Okay, well, let's talk about the person that has tried a lot, right? So you ask them, what have you tried already to reach this goal? To give you a long list of things. Okay, what you want to do here, you can add your coaching 2 cents. So if you want to give them a tip here, that's totally fine. Just make sure it's like 60 seconds. Don't go into full-blown coaching mode here. What we really want to do is tie down the fact that they're open-minded to trying different things, right? So what I would want to say, maybe I give my coaching tip. I say, amazing. Hey, you've tried a lot of things. Are you still open-minded to trying different approaches to figure this out? They say yes, eliminate that concern, right? If they've been trying on their own, you also want to tie down the fact that they're open to getting different perspectives and coaching, right? So, okay, awesome. I love that. Also, I know you've been trying this on your own. Are you open to being coached? Like, are you ready and at the point where you don't want to try this on your own anymore and you're ready to be coached by somebody else? They say yes. Cool. We've tied down those 2 concerns. That's how I would handle if somebody gave me a long list of things they tried. Okay, now let's say they haven't tried anything. You ask them what they've tried to reach this goal. They say nothing. Here's the path you want to go down. You want to say, hey, that's totally fine. My biggest question for you, how long have you been thinking about this? Like, how long have you been thinking about reaching this goal? Let's say they respond 6, like whatever their time is, you're going to get the same response, but let's say it's been a year. Man, okay, cool. So you've been thinking about this for a year and haven't taken any action yet? What do you think is holding you back? Now we're unearthing new information, right? Maybe they tell you more things that they haven't told before, and that's another opportunity to tie down those concerns by saying, are you willing to let XYZ stand in your way, or are you ready to get past that? And they say, yes, I'm ready to get past that. Boom, we've tied down that concern. Hopefully you guys are seeing the whole entire purpose of the discovery section is to unearth these concerns and eliminate these concerns before they become objections at the end of the call, right? That's why you're getting objections at the end of the call. It's a concern that hasn't been talked about yet, right? So that's why these discoveries are so impactful for eliminating objections. Okay, section 6 or 7, I'm losing track here, but the next section, okay? So the next section is painting the vision. I fucking love this question. I don't see this question in any other sales coach's scripts. Okay, this is a question that I added in maybe 2 years ago, and I fucking love it. Okay, let's talk about it. So what this does is this is going to help them because let me tell you, most people aren't thinking past their current fucking day. Most people aren't thinking about tomorrow or next week or next month, and they're especially not thinking about next year. But this question helps project out If they choose to do this, what does their life look like 12 months from now? If they choose not to do this, what does their life look like 12 months from now? So here's what you're going to do. You're going to say, hey, I want to do a quick little game with you. All right, so let's talk about this. 12 months from now, your life is exactly the same. You didn't take action on this goal and you stayed exactly the same. What would that look like 12 months from now if that was the decision that you made? And then they're going to start talking and you're going to say, what else? What else? What else? And until they say, nope, that's exactly it, you're not going to stop. Okay. Then once you have the, oh, no, that's it. That's what my life would look like. You're then going to follow it up with saying, great. So let's talk about the positive. 12 months from now, let's say that, you decide to take action on this, you've accomplished this goal. What would life look like 12 months from now if that was the decision that you made? Right? They start describing, you say, what else, what else, what else? You maximize that whole entire vision by them saying that's exactly what it would look like. There's nothing more. And then you're going to hit them with this one-liner. You're going to say, great. Well, I only got one question for you. Are you willing to settle for anything less than what you just described? Which, what you just described is your dream vision. And they say, no, I'm not willing to settle for anything less. Boom, we tied it down again. All right. Now they're even more excited. Right, their level of certainty is even higher. They're not willing to settle for anything less. Right, as you can see, this is bleeding into pitching them. Cool. So that's the next section. All right, we're getting near the end of the discovery. The next section here is identifying the needs. This is very simple. You're going to say, great. So what do you feel like you need to reach this goal once and for all? All right, this is extremely important. It may seem simple. It may seem simple, but it's extremely important. Why? Because after the discovery is the presentation. You're going to show them the program. So if they tell you the list of things that they need, and then literally right after that, you're going to show them your program, which checks all the boxes of the list of the things they need, guess what they're going to think? They're going to think, wow, this is exactly the program that I need. Right? So asking them what they need, getting them to list it out, and then showing them a presentation that literally just shows them everything that they said they needed really helps almost make it feel like this is a match made in heaven. Okay, then we're going to recap. Okay, so recapping, the goal of recapping the discovery shows them that you're paying attention, shows them that you're a good listener, which 95% of people don't have other people in their life that actually listen to what they say, right? So when you are the individual that sits back and listens to what they say, and actually are able to articulate it back to them, in some cases better than they articulated it to you, then one, you're the professional, but also you become more trustworthy, right? You become a person that they trust. So very simply what I do is I recap every section. I say, hey, Antonio, thank you for being on the call today. I just want to do a quick recap before we go through the presentation here. The biggest reason you're on the call is blank. Your goal is blank, and how important that goal is to you is a 10 out of 10. Reason being is blank, blank, blank. The reason you haven't reached this goal yet, your challenges are blank, blank, blank. What you've tried is blank, and what you need from us is blank. Is that about correct? They say yes. Bada bing, bada boom. Cool. Now, oh, I forgot to add in a couple other really key points here. 80-20, the 80-20 rule, which means that you're going to do 20% of the talking, 80% of the time you're listening. Do not be the person who's talking a lot, right? You want to be the person who's listening for all the reasons that we just talked about. It builds trust, right? Talking and talking and talking, they're going to tune out, right? But you actually become more of the leader figure when you're the person who's listening here. All right, we also want to follow the RAC formula, repeat, acknowledge, question, okay? When they tell us something, we want to repeat it back to them, we want to acknowledge it, and then we want to ask the very next question. This, once again, keeps you in control of the call, but also shows that you are listening as well. Now, the last key that I wanted to discuss here is how long should the discovery be? It should be 20 minutes max. And I would say no, so in between 10 and 20 minutes. If it's less than 10 minutes, it was way too short. You didn't dig deep enough. If it's more than 20 minutes, you're talking way too much. It should be between 10 and 20 minutes. All right, y'all, that is going to be the end of today's Brain Fuel episode. If you enjoyed, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.